Hello, sir. God bless you, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Hello? Hello, beloved, you're welcome. Pastor Philip, Brother Isaiah, Brother Johnson, you're welcome. Hello, hello, hello. Are we all there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Brother Isaiah, you're welcome.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Brother Johnson, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Brother Johnson, your audio is not on. This broadcast is going both on YouTube and Facebook. because we have, because all that we have said concerning today's today's broadcast, it has to do with some of the precautions we have neglected on road accidents that are taking so many lives. Today, I want to sincerely appreciate the sector commander of Lagos State Road Safety. He's been here 20 minutes before the scheduled time of this meeting. Mr. Shegun Ogungbemile. It wasn't just now, maybe there's a kind of itch at his end. But let's wait for him. You are welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
God bless you, sir. We sincerely apologize to you for the delay. I was just telling the house that you have been here about 20 minutes before the scheduled time. By the special grace of God, this broadcast is not for those who are here alone. Right away, we are live on YouTube and we are live on Facebook. By the special grace of God. House, I want to officially introduce to you our guest here. Somebody I was under his lecture once and I benefited. And extending this to everybody here. Especially those of us in the ministry, the pastors, the bishop, all of us. You can begin to share this so that others can continue to join us. Once. So I have with me today the Lagos Sector Commander for the Federal Road Safety Corps, Mr. Shegun Ogungbemide. He has been a wonderful person. Ever since I booked this appointment with him, despite his very tight schedule, he has been very promising. And today we have him here. He's been here before any of us. Immediately this room was open, he was already there. Today, I know a lot of you will be blessed today. A lot of you will be blessed. So join me as I welcome to this place, Mr. Shegun Ogungbemide, for the lecture on road safety, the untold secret about road accidents. A lot of us don't value what is called education. Today, you will see a lot of things that we should know. Last week, it was all about health, abuse, normal and abnormal use of drugs. Today, we are going into another aspect of life that you actually enjoy. Well, welcome on board, sir. God bless you.
Thank you very much. I count this as a privilege to have been invited to partake in this August program that is coming up at the early part of the year. And any opportunity we have as an operative of Federal Road Safety Corps to get involved in whatever can reduce road traffic crashes is always highly appreciated. That's why I took the time to wait for all others to join, because I believe the life that is being saved today could be anybody's life, and it goes a long way. Let me first of all appreciate the organizers for counting me worthy to be part of the program, and for all the other audience that are here. I took over the mantle of leadership of Lagos State Sector Command on 11th of June, 2020. And so far, so good, by the grace of God, in the area of enforcement and advocacy, where God has really helped us. And by the grace of God, the rate of crashes in Lagos has really nosedived compared to what it used to be, especially majorly celebrated crashes. Crashes along Kara, crashes along Otedola that are always celebrated because of the huge disaster, the attendant disaster that goes with it. So to God be the glory, we've not recorded much. And this we attribute to the support of every stakeholders, the state government, and the motoring public. Why are we so passionate about the program of the day, especially when it comes to the Christendom? If you look at the analysis made available to me at the local level, coming down to Lagos to be specific, in 20, am I still on board?
You are, sir. You are, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In 2019, Lagos recorded a total of 557 road traffic crashes. In 2020, we recorded 484. And 2021, that's from January to August, we recorded 377. Out of these road traffic crashes, the ones that has to do with life that were called fatal was 90 in 2019, 76 2020, and 70 2021. That's for serious, where people are injured. We recorded 280 in 2019, 251 in 2020, and 187 in 2021. That's January to August. And for the number killed in 2019, we recorded 119 deaths. In 2020, we recorded 107. And in 2021, January to August, we recorded 101. And anytime we speak about this figure, to an average person that is not affected, when I say not affected, maybe your family members are not involved, there's every tendency for you to see whatever I read out now as just ordinary figure. The emotional and sentiments, emotional attachment and sentiment is not there. But it's only those that are directly affected that will feel it better. So when we talk of 119 people dying, by virtue of the figure, it's 119. But by virtue of multiplier effects, it's beyond that. 119 breadwinners multiplied by the number of wives, if they are men, multiplied by the number of husbands, if they are women, and multiplied by the number of children. Those are the people that have directs. There are some situations where a breadwinner dies and the life of the children will never be the same again till eternity, if not for God's intervention. So that's why when we are reeling out the figure, we put life into that figure in Federal Road Safety Corps so that we can be more emotional about it and more passionate about our intervention. Federal Road Safety Corps in the last 33 years have lived up to the mandates that is given to us by the federal government in line with our vision, which is to eradicate road traffic crashes and create a safe motoring environment on Nigerian roads. And we all know that it's always a very huge ambition when we talk of eradicating road traffic crashes. But we know that worldwide is impossible, it's very, very difficult for that to be attained. That is why it is called an accident, because it can occur anytime. So for us to say we are going to eradicate road traffic crashes in its entirety, it might be quite difficult. But one thing that we believe is achievable is the one that is done through the safe system approach, that any crash that will occur must not claim life. That is the one that we have aligned with United Nations policy in creating. you all agree with me. You are all aware that in 2009, the world met at Moscow, where using 2004 as a baseline, it was recorded that a total of 1.3 million people were killed in a year, that particular 2004, and 50 million people were injured, and a total of $63 billion worth of property, that's gross loss for the entire world. And they also tried to narrate that out of all this debt recorded, more than 60% of the total debt were youths, which happened to be the future of the world, were wasted in the course of those crashes. And it was also confirmed that the crashes occur in developing countries. That is why we are so concerned, so disturbed that the total number of vehicles in the whole world, by virtue of division, the developing country has less than 30%, and they have more than 90 casualties recorded in crashes, despite the low volume of road traffic vehicular movement that we have. So it is a thing of concern, and that's what prompted the whole world to come together in 2009 and said, enough is enough. Enough of all this killing. There must deliberate effort by all stakeholders to get involved in reducing the rate of crashes on our roads and stop the incessant killing. And the world rated road traffic crashes as one of the health crises that has claimed more lives, more than every other disease. And in 2010, it was agreed that there must be a decade of action, which will take effect from 2011 to 2020, which we just ended. And the essence of the decade of action is to reduce fatality by 50% throughout the whole world. But it ended in 2020, and because it's not satisfactory, the world still came together and extended it by another 10 years, which took effect from 2011 and is going to end 2030. And with all the information that I reel out in my data, we ask ourselves, because Nigeria happens to be a very religious country, and the question will always be, all these numbers we read out, were they only pagans, or were they other religion, or is all the entire religions that are affected? If you look at the population of the country, we go all the way to pray virtually every day of the week. And is it that God is not listening to our prayers? Because if you say 1.3 million people died, you should know that it's distributed across the religion sectors. Either you are a pagan, or you are a Christian, or you are a Muslim. So going or judging by our own area of interest this morning, that is Christianity. Why do Christians get involved in these crashes? Why do Christians die in road traffic crashes? It should be a thing of concern, because God says, my wish for you, a wish of good and not of evil, to take you to your justified end. So if the will of God is for us to be alive, the will of God is for us to live good, so how come we get involved in crashes as Christians? So I recall a particular year when I was a staff at Eket. Eket happened to be a town that accommodates mobile oil. And most of the high-profile management team of Mobiles happen to be Christians, pastors to be specific. And virtually every year they were getting killed in the course of their job. That's getting involved in road traffic crashes and other domestic issues that were claiming lives. And it got to a crescendo that the company could not endure it again. They now called on Federal Road Safety Corps to come and talk to them. And I look at, how do I approach this issue? Because I know that the target audience were mostly Christians. 99% of the workforce then happened to be Christians. And I was restless until around 12 midnight that I got the inspiration from God that said I should go and talk to them and frame my message, heaven's reaction. God dropped that message in my heart that I should go and talk to the people and call the message heaven's reaction. What is the reaction of heaven when a Christian is killed in a road traffic crash? What is the reaction of heaven? Is there celebration in heaven? Is it moody? Is it sad moments? How does heaven take it? So I pick up the particular topic and I started ruminating over it. And I realized why we have this issue at hand. According to Hosea 4:6, it said, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So those people that were dying as Christians, they didn't die because they were not good Christians. They didn't die because they were not keeping the tenets of God, but they died because of lack of knowledge. And what is wisdom? God's Bible says wisdom is a principal thing. It said we should all seek wisdom, even as Christians. And correct application of knowledge is wisdom. So that means in the course of our activities, in our conduct, we have not applied enough wisdom to keep alive. And you cannot ignore knowledge and have wisdom, because the rudiment of wisdom is actually embedded in knowledge. So I harmed myself with this verse of the Bible, and I made a kind of playlist that surrounded that message posted by God, heaven's reaction. And I used a narration of a particular engineer of Mobile who had to go on an assignment from Eket to Mobile to go and fix a problem. And coincidentally, he happened to be a pastor. And he woke up in the morning as he was about to proceed on that journey. He woke up and called the entire family for them to pray as a good Christian. And after the prayer, he told them he's going on a trip to Uyo to fix a problem. And being a pastor is very necessary for them to come together in unison. And as he was about leaving, the wife reminded him that she drove the car the previous day, and that the braking system was not too good, that he should try and see the mechanic before proceeding on that trip. In response, he said, we have prayed and everything will be okay. God will protect me. I will go and come back. When I come back, I'll fix the braking system. And when he was about leaving the house, the children reminded him of their admission. He has 2 kids and said one going admission, University of Ife, one University of Uyo. And by virtue of his status as a chief engineer in Mobile, he said none of my children will attend Nigerian University. There is already made effort for one to attend Oxford and for the other one to attend Manchester. And on that note, they all laughed and he entered his vehicle. About driving up, the wife called his attention to the fact that it's not on seatbelt. And he saw it as one of the series of problems that women will always give. There was a big deal about this seatbelt. You are disturbing me. So he put the seatbelt just to satisfy the wife. And as he drove out, he removed the seatbelt. Just like many of us will always believe that the seatbelt is always a stress. Some will even claim that when they use seatbelts, their ashwebi will be messed up, or whatever clean clothes they are wearing. So he removed the seatbelt because it was not comfortable on him, and he proceeded on that trip. And as he was driving away, there were calls coming all the way from the other quarters where they were expecting him, telling him that his time is going, you know what it means to fix some items or instruments in oil company. I think it was a critical one. They were calling him and he was responding, meaning that he was making call while driving. That's distracted driving. He was making call and responding. And because of the agitation, he increased his speed. As against the 90 kilometers per hour, he was going almost 130 because he needed to fix a problem. It has nothing to do with religion. He that touches the hedge, the serpent will bite. So he was going on that high speed and they were calling. That means while he was still on the high speed, he was distracted. And you know one funny thing about cars while driving? If you are seated with me in the car and you are talking with me, because some people do mix it up, that what is the difference between making call while driving and somebody also talking to you inside your vehicle? If I'm with a friend in the vehicle and we are chatting while driving, he's not distracting me per se because I'm not imagining him. But when a call comes from outside, I imagine the person I'm speaking with at the other side. So naturally, unintentionally, my view is off the road. You might have the wrong impression that you are seeing the road. Maybe I can see, I can count vehicles, I can see the movement of vehicles. Until you stop that call, that's when you see that it's as if a cobweb is removed from your view when you drop the phone. Because how come that when a superior officer calls you from the other side as a uniformed person, you keep still even without seeing the person? How come that coincidentally as a younger person, when an elderly person call you from other hand, you end up giving almost prostrating without seeing the person? That is imagination. And you cannot do two things at the same time when it comes to driving. You are driving, you are relating with the person at the other side, definitely your time is shared and your vision. So that was what was actually going on. While he was driving, he was imagining the people calling him. All of a sudden, everything went blank. I don't know how long it takes to go from earth to heaven. After a while, he finds himself at a particular gate surrounded by men in white. And when he opened his eyes, he asked the question, where am I? And one of those in white said, oh, this is the gate of heaven. You are welcome home. No, they didn't say you are welcome home. They say, what brought you here? And he also has the same question too. What brought me here? They asked him to tell them what brought him here too. Because in Christendom, there are two ways to welcome people to heaven. The first one is welcome home. And the second one is what brought you here. Many of us, in the course of this, our engagement in life, that got our days terminated unexpectedly. What the message we always receive is what brought you here. A man that killed himself in the course of road traffic crash, they won't tell him welcome home because that's not the vision of God for him. They will ask him what brought you here, untimely. And that was the question they asked him. And he said he didn't know, he just noticed he remember he was driving and all of a sudden everything went blank. So the angels gave him the privilege of opening his inner eyes for him to see what happened. And the next thing, he saw his vehicle under a trailer. That means while he was on that top speed and distracted by a phone call, he got to a junction, an intersection. An articulated vehicle that was misbehaving too entered the road and he ran under the trailer and he got killed. And he asked, could this be my car? And the angel confirmed to him that you were on top speed. You were making call and distracted. And that other reckless driver entered the road without looking. And that's where you find yourself because he could not apply defensive driving technique. And he said, does it mean I'm gone? And the angel told him that it is a portion for a man to die once and thereafter judgment. So it was a bitter, it was a painful one for him because with all what he has planned for his family, all his hope, you know, we talk about the crown we try to achieve as Christians on earth. Then this crown, do you have your time duration to get it? It's something you get at the time God says, welcome home. And when it's terminated, he said his position let another take. So he was aggrieved. He was in pain. He started remembering the wife, he remembered the children, his work colleagues at work, and he pleaded with the angels that you can't just leave me like this. I need to save my people. I need to go back to them. And the angel said, it's not possible. Look at your body under that trailer. It's so mangled that there's no way your life can still be retained in that body. You are dead, you are dead. And don't be surprised, the fact that you are dead, that's why we are here to receive you. You are a pastor, a good pastor, devoted pastor, committed to things of God. So you are not a sinner. So you are going to heaven. But what is certain is that your mission and vision on earth is already terminated. That means all your hope of winning the crown and the souls you will have won are gone. And he now pleaded that, okay, let me see my family. So they opened the window of earth for him to see his family. And he now saw that beautiful woman he left at home. He saw the beautiful woman already devastated out of the pains of mourning. And he said, is this my beautiful wife looking haggard like this? And the angel said, that's what you caused her. He's already a widow. And he said, oh my God, this woman will not survive it. And the angels reminded him that it's just a matter of time. Another person will take your position. Your wife is still very young. Definitely someone else will still marry. He got so pained by that statement. But it's a fact. If by virtue of your carelessness, you lost your wife, there can never be a vacuum. Another person will help you manage after a while. At least life goes on. And the angel reminded him that if you go to the ocean side, go and scoop water from an ocean. Will you be able to know the point you pick the water from? That is the way we are in the hands of God. We are so many. And you recall that when a sinner, is only when a sinner becomes born again that there's celebration in heaven. Not when a saint dies. It's only when a sinner gives his life to Christ and is won over that there's celebration. So if as a saint you die untimely, is a minus to the head because your vision has been affected. And he saw the children he has promised, Harvard and Manchester. And he saw the son already smoking, the daughter going wayward. And he said, this is not my dream for my children. And they said, that's what you cost them. And he pleaded with the angel, said, please take me to my office. They will be mourning my demise by now. On getting to his office, he saw another person already seated on his seat. And he said, you mean they can't even wait for me to, and they just say, his position let someone else take. You recall that what you are going for was actually sensitive. And they cannot allow that problem to be left unattended to. So another person has to take your position. He said, this is wickedness. He said, no, that is what life is all about. And he said, why are they celebrating? Why are they rejoicing when they are supposed to be mourning? What are they really doing? Meanwhile, all of them were seated, listening to the message of safety from me that day, and they played it. And the angel told him that same message was related to you the previous year, but you took it for granted. And that's how you find yourself here. So you say, then what is my portion? What will happen to me? And the agent said, there's nothing wrong that will happen to you as a Christian. You are going to join your father in the paradise as a good pastor, as a good Christian. But what you have lost is your purpose of being on earth, to win souls for Christ, to be an added value. That you have cut short by your carelessness. And that's how that playlet ended. And in the course of my movement, I had reason to also go to churches to give advocacy. And I was about entering a church one time. Let me use name to protect that church. And the pastor called me by the side and said, I should not speak anything negative in their church. Because in FRSU, you start talking about death, injury, and I told the pastor, I said, I'm listening, sir, I won't. So when I got the microphone from him, I told him that the pastor already warned, I told the congregation that the pastor had already warned me not to come and say anything negative in your church. So I'm not in your church to tell you that I have an idea of the number of people that died last year. That's not why I'm here. I'm not in your church to tell you that I've been able to rescue crashes involving missionary vehicle, and they wrote on the body, angels on guard. And I know angels neither sleep nor slumber. So what happened to the driver? I'm not in your church to tell you that I've rescued men. And I saw big Bible in the vehicle that I rescued, meaning that such person must have been a Christian. And they were all looking. I said, but all I know is that when somebody is not having knowledge, definitely is bound to perish. And that's the message I brought to you this morning. And that was just the truth. As Christians, many of us in the course of movement from one place to the other, we have behaved like pagan. God says there's nobody that I put in position of authority that I'm not aware of. How many of us have tried government functionaries to assist them in doing their work? How many times as a Christian have you abused a road safety officer because you believe he's trying to pester you? Because he says, you should reduce your speed. Many people have called me names in the course of my career. Animals, idiots. There are some conferences that we go, that when you see pastors exchanging blow in the course of exiting the conference, and you ask, where are the Christians? Passing wars and abusing themselves because they were struggling to leave the event, the conference event. So, we allow our flesh to overwhelm us. Some will even tell you, we'll leave pastor matter aside. Let us fight it out. What are you fighting out? And we translate this road rage to the road, and we get involved in crashes. And that's why when we see many of the pastors coming up to say they want to be members of special marshals, we always celebrate it. And how come in the Western world, their rate of crashes are different from ours? In Sweden today, out of 100,000 vehicles that go out in a day, only one gets involved in crashes. In Nigeria, out of 100,000 vehicles that move out, 23 on the average gets involved in crashes. And I did the analysis. How come Sweden is better? I was a staff somewhere in Eket, and I met a pastor wearing castle. He put his son on his leg, on his lap, and he was driving. And I stopped him. He was not remorseful, and I gave him tickets. He started cursing me that I booked a man of God. Pouring so many curses on me. And me, I know that a costless curse does not have any impact as long as I stand to do what is right in line with the law. Because God says you should obey the law. Because when Jesus was confronted by his workers and said, can you imagine? They said we should come and pay tax. What did Jesus tell his disciples? He said, give unto Caesar what is Caesar. That means keep the law of the land. He said, there's nobody that is up there that have not chosen. Obey them. Keep the law of the land. Many of us will note what all the rules are. Are you telling me it's only pagan that go against traffic in Lagos? Are you telling me it's only pagan, is other religion that makes call while driving in Lagos, or that fail to use seat belts? It's all encompassing when it comes to issue of we don't care, but we use the religion weapon to attack the agencies when we are caught. I was reading a journal sometimes, American journals, and a man of God was arrested for going against the speed limit of that nation. Instead of 80 miles per hour, he was going 120 because he was already late for administration. And he was stopped. In abroad, nobody compromises the law. There's no respect for anybody, irrespective of who you are. You are very much aware of a mayor or a mayor in one of the advanced countries that was made to resign recently because he was booked and he had to call a dignitary in the government to complain. And they said for him to have tampered with the law, he should step aside. When this pastor go to his church, he called the congregation and apologized to them for coming late. He said, I've not represented you well as a man of God and as a pastor. See what I did. And I'm very sorry. Please, may we now continue with the session. But look at it the other way around. If it's Nigeria or African country that you book a man of God, what will he do when he gets to the church? He will turn it around against the government as evil. He will tell the whole congregation to stand up and pray against the man that stopped you from hearing the word of God. He will tell them that, oh, I missed coming here on time because I was stopped. God used some road safety, devil used some road safety officers to stop me. He will not look at it from the positive spiritual angle, and he will tell them to stand up and pray against the power of the devil. These are the scenarios that we experience. And you look at it that if that man is only lucky that he got stopped by the FRS, you can imagine assuming that vehicle gets involved in a crash, what will have happened to that boy on the lap of that pastor? If the boy had been killed, what would he have said? So we just look at it that's why in the Western world, because they keep the laws, many of our boys or many of our people that travel outside the country, they keep this law. When they feel like exercising their impunity, they come back to their country. Many have confronted us before. Yeah, I can't be a prisoner in another man's country and still be a prisoner in my own country. It's lawlessness. It's perpetrating lawlessness that you want to show that you are a Nigerian. But when you get outside, you keep all their rules. You are very obedient. Who are you to make call while driving outside the country? Who are you to go against the traffic rule? But when they come back home, they will tell you, this is my father's land. So it's your father's land that encourages accept lawlessness. And that is the results from the data I rail out. 1.3 million people killed. African nation has more than 80% of it. I just told you 119 people killed in Lagos in 2019. Not animals, human beings. And these people still have Christians among them. So when we now look at the Western world, how were they getting it right? In this Sweden that I gave the analysis of, in Sweden, a driver is made to drive 4 vehicles at the same time. While in Nigeria, a driver, despite all the training, will keep to 1 vehicle. He drives only 1 vehicle. That's what he sees. He will just hold that one that is inside. That's the one he keeps to. And how does a driver drive 4 in Sweden? He's driving the one is holding the steering. That's 1. He's driving for the man that is ahead of him. That's 2. That's true vigilance, true deliberate consciousness of what is happening ahead of him, true foresight. He's driving from the man that is coming from the rear. That's the work of the inner mirror and the side mirror. How is the man behaving that is coming from the back? He's driving for the one that is coming from the other side. Especially now, driving for the man that is coming on your opposite side is more important because there is a lot of distractions in the land now. So many psychological issues. You ask yourself, how come we have this head-on collision? Is it that the man is not seeing me? The man is not seeing you. The eyes are just opened. But his heart is loaded with a lot of problems. He's still driving for that man. That's the man you share road with. That's number 4 vehicles at the same time. And if you are able to drive these 4 vehicles, that means total commitment to that dedication, total attention to driving. And that's the difference between Nigerian drivers and if you are driving on the express and there's an hold up in front and you get to that hold up before you make a detour on a proper lane, is an indication that you are not a good driver. Because if you are a driver with good foresight, you should be able to see ahead, 2, 3 vehicles ahead, and take proper shape before you get to that point. So these are the things that made the Western world to be better than us. If despite all the public or the enforcement, I arrest a total of 15,000 offenders in Lagos alone every quarter, every 3 months. It's an indication that they are not relenting, they're not ready to change. 15,000. And you are in the midst, as a Christian, you are in the midst of all this danger. So if you don't drop the idea of over spirituality, of thinking that, oh, as long as I've prayed, a law enforcement agency met you at Kara on your way to Ibadan, and he stopped you to tell you that 3 out of your tires are gone, and you are proceeding on a journey to Ibadan, and you told him you already pray with your family members this morning, no evil will happen to you. By the time the vehicle somersaults, that's where you know that our God can be humorous, because he did not send you. So for us to live in this danger, in this world of heavy traffic loaded with dangers as Christians and still survive, the only thing we can hold on, because if I say I've spoken to every other person except you, I'll be deceiving you. You have to hold your destiny in your hands as a Christian. The Bible says faith without work is dead. Many Christians will believe in faith, no evil will come near me. No, but we didn't work for it. You work assiduously towards helping that faith. Jesus was taken to the pinnacle by the devil. What did he pass to him? The way the devil has been ministering to us too. He gave him analysis of Psalm 91. He said, if you jump from there, before you hit your land, or the angels will pick you up, no evil will come near you. And Jesus just laughed at his foolishness. But rather than laughing at the foolishness of the devil, we embrace it under the guise of faith. Jesus didn't say, I'm Satan, I'm Jesus. Don't mind, I will jump. What did Jesus ask him? He said, do not try the Lord your God. Because it's not devil that pushed Jesus. So he said he should jump by himself. Now, what do we call miracle? God's intervention in a situation that is beyond us. That is miracle. Not situation that we caused by ourselves. God's intervention is something that is beyond you, that you never planned. When a man was telling me one time that his fuel got finished when he was stranded somewhere and he was scared, he was praying to God, and God gave him mileage, even with an empty tank. That is God's intervention. But not when he deliberately put an empty vehicle on the road and say, God, I want to take this empty vehicle to Ibadan. You not think you would, because that's tempting God. That's what Jesus told the devil. He said, do not tempt the Lord your God. Many Christians, we tempt God. We are like, Folonshaw, don't forget, that's what we do. We know that this thing is risky. We know that this thing is not tenable, but we say, oh, God will protect the tire. Which God? Is it God that bought a Tokumbo tire for you? No. So for us to be able to get through all this, what we preach to every Christian that we're opportune to meet is what we call defensive driving technique. You know what the Bible says? It said the chariots and horses are already prepared for days of battle. Victory is of the Lord. What's the meaning? That means you have to do your own part first. Because before God's intervention, you have to put your vehicles in order. You have to be in the right frame of work. Mind as a driver, as a Christian. You now proceed on that journey because your chariots and horses are already fortified. It's the same God that will tell King David, go, you shall win. But that does not mean that David will go with hungry horses and chariots that are having problems with their wheels. David will prepare and put all his battle in shape. So he told one of the warriors, he said, take them to the rivers. Okay, take them. I'm taking only 300 people. Leave all these people. And he said, I will do a test for them. A fortification test. Who are the ones that are prepared to fight this battle? Those are the ones that were chosen by God. And the battle was won. And that is the same thing that can be replicated in our Nigerian road has become a battlefield where you don't know where the problem will come from. So you have to prepare as a war before you enter that road. Because like Lagos now, we have an average of 2 million vehicles on the road on a daily basis. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Someone that does not even have driver's license that plies the road. Someone that is a learner that removed the learner because he does not have a professional beside him. And these are the people you share the road with. So you have to be prepared for them. And how do you get yourself prepared? You must be a good defensive driver. Number one, for you to be a good defensive driver, is you must be skilled. Being skilled means you must be a licensed driver. You must have gone through driving school. Having gone through driving school, you'll be tested by VIO before you proceed to FRSC to get your face captured. That is being a skilled driver, and regular training too. And if you don't see that driver's license, we don't rate you as a skilled driver. Not just I feel like driving, you carry your son or your daughter to the backyard and you start. No, we have certified driving school where you can send the moment my son became 18 years, I sent him to a driving school, one in Lagos, the second one in Ibadan. I can sleep with my two eyes closed that I have a child on the road. Anytime they tell me he's driving, I know it's up to. The number two is judgment. As a good defensive driver, you must have correct judgment, ability to decide. Judgment in driving is not taken in minutes. They are taken in seconds. You don't start thinking of judgment you are going to take when you are driving, because the problem that will come from the other side is not going to give you the opportunity of a man that wants to run you down will not give you opportunity of seconds or minutes. It's instantly. That is why your antenna must be very high as a driver. What decision am I going to take per time? And how do you control this judgment? That means you have to think ahead. Don't wait for the problem to come before you think. If you are driving on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, you should be able to look at the lay-by. In case a vehicle is trying to run me down, is there any lay-by I can run to? Get yourself prepared. What is the action I'm going to take? And some of you will say, I'm always flying the express. No vehicle will come from the other side. Who says? Have you not seen where a vehicle breaks all the barrier and go and kill people at the other side of the road? Articulated vehicle. I am on the road 24/7. If I tell you the casualties that are being recorded on the road on daily basis, you'll be scared to move on that road. So the number two is what we call, number three is foresight as a defensive driver. You must have foresight. Foresight means ability to think ahead, ability to drive 4 vehicles at the same time, ability to think for the other road users. What is the man in front of me going to do? That is foresight. You should be able to size the psychology of the driver. When I'm driving, I don't just look at the body of a vehicle. I look at the content of that vehicle. The vehicle that is coming opposite you. Oh, don't just look at it. It's a trailer. Who is the person driving that trailer? Look through the windscreen. It will amaze you that that man that is opposite you is not even looking at the road. Maybe he's picking something that dropped in his car and the vehicle is still moving. It will amaze you that the man is on call. It will amaze you that the man is talking to the person beside him and he has taken his face off the road. And it will amaze you more to know that the man is even having his eyes open, looking at you, but his mind is not towards you. So looking at him, looking at the content, the body language of his vehicle would determine, have you not seen where a vehicle will just come and brush so many vehicles on the road? What would the guy be doing? At times, some of them, where they are making calls, the phone drops from their hands. And while they are driving, they will be looking for the phone at the foot of their vehicle. These are the people you share road with. And the number 4 is what we call alertness. An imbecile can never be a driver on Nigerian roads or the world road, because driving entails high internet. Your wisdom must be intact. Your brain must be sound, because judgment in driving entails every part of your body. That's what they call alertness. It's an instant thing. Everything you have that controls your alertness must be put in place. Your brain, your eyes. What do you do with your eyes? A man that does not see cannot drive. And there's no law that says you cannot drive with glasses. You ask yourself, what will the danger we put ourselves in Nigeria? When you go to motor parks, you see so many elderly people that are driving. And you ask them, at the age of 65, 70, you are still driving, but you are not using glasses. The moment I crossed 40, I was not seeing well again. I started using glasses. Is it that the man has a unique feature? But to them, I've been to so many companies. When we are doing eye tests for them, more than 80% of the drivers are having eye defects. And they will run to lobby us, to bribe us, that we should not allow their management to know that they are having eye defects, because they believe that if they use glasses, they will sack them. So these people will pretend as if they are okay, and they continue to drive on Nigeria, because there are some crashes you see on the road. You ask yourself, how can this man just veer into the bush, a lone crash, or running into other vehicles? Those are the people that have defect with their eyes, but they are hiding it. So we started changing their orientation, that the fact that you use glasses does not mean you are not fit to drive. You can drive, and that's the essence of glasses, to correct and put you in a proper position. What do you do with your nose? If you are driving, you should be able to perceive maybe the cables are burning, or so that you'll be able to stop whether something is about to get wrong. You can perceive it from your nose. And your hearing, a vehicle, some people, the vehicle will knock on their head. They will not know, because all what they do when they enter their vehicle is to put on the sound system from the startup to the destination. They cannot even hear when the sound of their vehicle changes. And the next thing, they are stranded on the road. And some are even alerted. They are being alerted of any danger happening on the road, whether there's a crash ahead. Am I still speaking? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whether there's a crash ahead, or whether there's a danger that they needed to be alerted until they run into it. And what do? The all-encompassing brain is the one that annexes all your alertness for it to fit into what you intend to do. And the number 5 is what we call courtesy. On Nigerian road for Christians, please, I plead and I plead again. Nigerian road is not where you claim rights. Oh, I have the right of the road at the roundabout. To what gave you the impression that the man that will share that roundabout with you has the same knowledge that you have? So you give courtesy. Where it is necessary for you to accommodate others on the road, please do. There are so many people in the grave today, they died claiming roads, claiming right of the road. When FRSC gets to the crash scene, we don't ask the dead body who was at fault. We only pack them and put them into the mortuary. So it takes courtesy. There's a man that is stranded waiting to enter the flow, allow him to go and solve your problem. And the number 5 quality of a good defensive driver is what we call carefulness. That is the summary of all. That's why anytime we go for proper training in driving, they will always tell you, assume that all other road users are what? They are mad. That you are the only one that is the same driver on the road. And there's nobody that will see a madman and go and embrace him. That's what they are trying to pass to us. So it's an indication that all other person that is sharing the road with you, you have to be careful with them. Place them in the status of a madman that you must not near, so that you can drive and keep yourself safe. So coming back, if you're able to confirm all this quality, you know that you look better and you look comfortable when you are driving on Nigerian roads. And with the Christian the Bible injunction that the enemy has come to do what? To steal, to kill, and to destroy. So for you to be able to survive that road, assume that all other road users are enemies and they are devil. That's the truth. Because they have succeeded in killing so many dreams. They have succeeded in destroying so many homes. And they have succeeded in stealing so many joy. So how do you solve these enemies? Your enemy number 1 is that vehicle that is ahead of you. The man could trafficate right and go left. Have you not witnessed it before? The man could not even trafficate at all. It's either he goes left or right, and you are confused. The man could press his brake suddenly, he does not have brake lights. How do you take care of this enemy? We have what we call driving distance. 16 meters driving distance is what is recommended by FRSC. That no matter how he misbehaves, you have enough space to readjust yourself. But what do we see? When we are traveling as Christians, as whoever we think we are, we go on tailgating. We do bumper to bumper. The moment the man, that's why you see multiple crashes on the highway. The moment the man commits any infraction like this, every other vehicle run into it. And so many lives are lost. Keep that 15 meters distance. No matter the number of people that fill it up, continue to pick it. Because no matter how early your co-traveler gets to his destination, under a few minutes, you are going to meet him in good health. The number 2 enemy that you have to take care of is the man that is driving behind you. That is the essence of having your inner mirror and side mirror. The inner mirror and side mirror, they are not performing the same role. There's a point a vehicle overtakes you, you cannot see with your side mirror again. You can only, with your inner mirror, you can only see with your side mirror. At times, I see some containers and tankers. They don't have side mirror, they are driving with inner mirror. Please, a tanker that is carrying tank, what can he see with inner mirror apart from the body of his tank? And this kind of a person will put such heavy vehicle on the road and he has to view the back. Those are the ones that will overtake without looking whether a vehicle is coming behind them. When you have such vehicle coming behind you and is on top speed, how do you take care of this enemy? Surge ahead, trafficate to your right, and give few minutes for him to carry his evil and go. And you realign yourself back to the road. Your number 3 enemy is the one that is coming opposite you. Don't be deceived. You have a barrier, you can break the barrier. He's seeing you, he might not be seeing you. Especially with the poverty in the land and so many distractions that is all over the places now. Majorly the distraction of phone calls and problem we have at home. I give you a scenario of a man that is about to travel to Abuja, and the wife called him to drop some money at home for the children. And he complained to the wife that he does not have any money. And as he picked the key to move her, the wife called him back. He said, Daddy Samuel, if they are looking for men, you too, you claim to be a man. And this man is about to travel to Abuja. As he's driving, what do you think will be going on in his mind? So I'm not a man. So and you see him sharing the road with you, you think he's seeing you, but he's not saying anything about you. His mind, his attention is divided. So I do tell them when I go to motor parks, if your staff complain to you that he's having problem at home, help him solve that problem before he proceeds on that journey. If a woman abuses you as a man, your wife, your mind will not be at rest until that problem is solved. Your number 3 enemy, your number 4 enemy. So how do you solve that enemy? When you are driving and a man is at the opposite side, please give him full concentration. Blow your horn. Use your flashlight to wake him back to life. He might not be seeing you. His eyes might be inside his heart, being taken away. We call it psychology of a driver. What is he thinking at that moment? Your number 4 enemy is the one we call distractions that happen on the road. Distraction all over the places. You see them, artisans selling items. They cross the road, bah! Suddenly, animals are distractions. You should understand the psychology of animals when you are traveling too. When a sheep crosses the road, the tendency for other sheep to join will be there. So you have to be patient. Don't say, oh, it's only one sheep that is crossing, others will follow. That's when they say someone is a sheep, is an abuse, because they will just follow like a fool. But when a goat crosses the road, there's an indication that halfway the goat will make a detour back. So there could be confusion. And when you see cattle clustered by the roadside, don't blow your horn, because your horn can disperse them and create problems for you. So that's understanding the psychology of animals and other road distractions. And many of us that are not disciplined when it comes to women will get involved in so many crashes when we look away. Body hug, less hug, especially when it's an institution area. Even by the roadside, people are traveling, they put their eyes off their road. So when you are in the midst of all these distractions, you have to keep your concentration on the road and keep the distractions by the roadside. And the last enemy is your number 5 enemy. The number 5 enemy is yourself as a driver. Did you do your parade this morning before you proceed on that journey as a Christian? Did you check your vehicle, whether the oil is okay? Did you know the pressure of your tire? Do you know whether your horn are functioning? Do you check the oil in the vehicle, whether they are gauged? Did you check the water? Did you check the fuel in your vehicle before you get stranded on the road? And do you use your seatbelt when they ask you to use your seatbelt? And they say you must not use your phone while driving. You went and buy Bluetooth. You've forgotten that it's not the holding of the phone that is the problem. It's the contents of the information that enters your phone. As a pastor, they called you on your phone that one of your church members has issue. Won't you attend to it? You attend to it. But you have forgotten that on that road, there's little or nothing you can do. And Gabriel City has given you a better option. If you have a call, find a better place and park. Even if it's a good news they pass to you that one of your church members just delivered safely, the joy can also affect your driving. So it's not just about evil and good. The two do have an effect on you. And that is where you come in. They say you must not make call. You must use your seatbelt. Your tires must be okay. What is the status of your vehicles? It's all about you. The laws that are put in place are for your own good. If you get killed, it's not the government that will suffer. It's the family, it's the church member, it's your colleagues in the church that will miss you. And these are the places where we have our problems. So for Christians, the Bible says the horses and chariots are prepared for the days of battle, but victory is of the Lord. So if you're able to put all these things in place, God can now come in and say, beloved, proceed on that journey you are set. Thank you very much.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. This is wonderful, sir. In fact, I believe those who are part of this broadcast with me, we have one or two things to say concerning what has happened here. And those watching live too, I want to sincerely appreciate you so much, sir, for this time. Despite your very tight schedule, you have allowed us to take part of your time. And I believe that whatever you have said there, the time we shall never be in vain in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
You have fed us in your area of profession, and you have taken us to the scripture again to actually show that you are a child of God. Sincerely speaking, I enjoy every bit of this lecture. And I don't know if some of my people now have some questions. Like I have some questions here I want to ask briefly before we close. Yes, most of the time I've been so troubled about traffic in Lagos State. And I was actually thinking, what can we do? But sometimes, because I had the opportunity to have left these countries one or two times, and I noticed that there are devices that we always arrest or call the attention of road users whenever they disobey the law. Because I remember when I was in Dubai, my host then told me that if you just beat or disobey the traffic, within few seconds, you will see a lot on your phone that will tell you have violated a portion of traffic law. And I was probably thinking, can't we have such devices here, like having some of your men going out probably in phone or camera, without even having to struggle with them, that at least by the time they are coming to do their vehicle or renewal of their vehicles, that it will have been on record that at a particular time you violated this particular rule. I am thinking of that's a question. Then another question is, do you apart from the federal road safety, the special marshal, do you absorb NGO as a traffic and monitoring team? That is, there are NGO people are. Because I was just like, I wish I could get some youth that are going to be dressed in a particular uniform and will take care of some the wayward drivers. Some of them, where others are on the queue, they want to go on one way and do a lot of things. I'm so bothered. That's number two. Number three, what are the qualifications for a special marshal? For who want to be qualified to be a member of the special marshal, what are the things you consider for that? In then my question number four is, why are members of your corps not armed? Why are they not armed? Because I have seen so many confrontations with members of road safety on the road, and I discovered that what they are doing I am thinking they should be armed. Why are they not armed? Those are the questions, the 4 questions I have.
Do we wait for others? Or I just answer this one straight on?
Is there anybody with any question there, please? Those of us here, any question? So that the question can be asked, you can respond to the questions at the same time. Any question, Brad Johnson, Brad Phillips, Brad Isaiah, any question?
Good afternoon, sirs, everyone, and my president, your excellency, sir. I want to appreciate our sector commander that came to lecture us. It's a better opportunity. I really want to thank God. Yes, yeah, you have really asked my question. About 10 years ago, I went to the office, sector commander's office, and I wrote a letter that we want to be a special marshal, because I saw the effort of the people on the road, especially the road safety, and I saw that most of the times they were not enough. So, what can we do, people? How can we help our nation? And that's why I wrote the letter. And they said about 25 of us wanted to do that then. But at the end of the day, they approved us, but we were unable to do it. But thank God that you have asked, what are the qualifications for now? How can we be part of this? How can we assist the nation? A lot of lawlessness everywhere. If we are authorized, then in some area, in some occasions, we'll be able to assist when the officers are not there. So that's just what I want to do. The question you've asked is what's the qualification and how can we be part of the special marshal, and if there's any other thing that we can do to assist one another. So that's just what I want to say. Once again, I appreciate our lecturer, sector commander. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. So, let me respond to the ones that we have here handy. The number one talked about introduction of technology. We are all privileged to travel out of the country. And every sane society is a function of the operators. No matter how good the technologies in the Western world are, if people are not complying with the laws, it will still be in futility. Then you ask yourself, I just gave you a scenario that our people that traveled out, keeping to the rules of the Western world, they return here to say they want to free themselves and create world of impunity. When we talk about technology, Federal Safety Corps happened to be one of the few paramilitary in West Africa or Africa by extension that first introduced the use of technology to enhance enforcement. We talk about speed limit device to assist in reducing overspeeding or excessive speeding. And we ask ourselves, sir, this close to 5 years, we are still running after commercial vehicles to install speed limit device. Speed limit device, I'm sorry to use this, is like Holy Spirit. Jesus said, I will go and I will keep the Holy Spirit who will be with you. Federal Road Safety Corps cannot do route lining on non-Nigerian network. We introduce speed limit device that anywhere you go, you have somebody within you that will caution you against excessive speeding, because it's already regulated that you cannot go beyond 90 kilometers per hour. So when you get to that 90 kilometers per hour, no matter how much you press your accelerator, it keeps you there. That is the essence of speed limit device. But up to now, people are dying. We do a lot of advocacy. Our men that you see on the road can only take care of 15%. Enforcement can only take care of 15% of what we intend to achieve. That's why we speak at length. If I spend 1 hour on the road, an offender can take that 1 hour from me. for a whole day. But if I spend 1 hour on radio, I'll be talking to millions of people. So that's why we value advocacy so much. What Nigeria needs today is not necessarily having advanced, because even in the Western world, with all the technology, you still need physical presence when it comes to enforcement. I used to joke over one thing. CCTV can only help you to make sure there's justice. CCTV cannot stop armed robber from killing anybody. The only thing is that justice, the person might not be able to escape justice. But it's not, that's why so if Western world, they go and sleep, there are no more police, we've installed CCTV, any crime will catch the crime. So virtually, there are people that are not bothered whether they are killed after, but they must kill their targets. So without the presence, physical presence of our men on the road, is the one that sends signal to people. We know it's ethic. Business of enforcement is so difficult in Africa because of the orientation of our people. And that's what we should work on. Look at people that they will write on the wall, do not urinate here. And that is the position that person will go and choose to urinate. And what did we do? We start changing the dimension. We don't say do not urinate again. We're not right. If you urinate here, God will punish you. So we know, you can imagine I was opportune to meet a retired IG one time. And that was when we were about to do commencement of enforcement of use of crash helmets. And he said he had me on TV when I was talking about this issue of enforcement of crash helmets. He said in Nigeria, we do the opposite. That if I come on air the following day and say that whoever that uses crash helmet will be arrested, he said all the Okada riders will start using crash helmets. Because they want to show me that they will use it and nothing will happen. So if I say, oh, don't if you don't use crash helmet, he said they will not use it to see what will happen. You can see the base we have dropped to. Lagos, we're almost getting there before NSAS. It was NSAS that virtually collapsed all the gains of almost 10 years ago. If I tell you the measure of aggression in Lagos today, you'll be amazed. Everybody has become lawless. Because when we are talking of technology, Shebi VIS has introduced a technology where your roadworthiness, it will just capture you. That, oh, your roadworthiness has expired. You are going to be charged accordingly. What do you see? Big men will start calling and calling and calling. The respect for law in Nigeria is a major problem. By the time we get to the point, the little we have now that we call law, let us respect it. Let us not compromise it. Let's start from there. Because before we now start introducing technology for convenience, because in FRSC, you'll know that we don't pursue vehicles again because technology has helped us. When I see your vehicle committing an infraction and you are running away, I'll just move closer to get your number. By the time it's inputted, we have a very robust data that every details about you will come out. So you can just be at your doorstep and drop your ticket there. That is the extent to which we have gone. And for involvement of NGO, so many NGOs are doing wonderfully well. It's open. You know, transportation sector is an open field. As long as you have the capacity, we have alliance with so many NGOs now collaborating with them. That's why you are seeing many major things that are happening. Even when we had the decade of action, they were all represented at Russia. Even when the second phase came up at Australia, they were all there. Because issue of the business of enforcement and road safety is everybody's business. Even you as an individual, you can arrest somebody on the road. There are so many people that have contacted us. They pinned down the vehicle for committing an infraction, and we got there and we got the people arrested. What do you see? Have you played your own role as an individual? That's what I've been telling Lagosians. When a man is going against the traffic and is being stopped by law enforcement agencies, when you get to that spot, what do? You abuse them for creating gridlock. You say it's because they want to collect 50 naira, 100 naira from him. Even some will attack the agency and allow that person to pass. When we encourage them, when do we see next time? Many more disciples will have joined. But if as an individual, you block that man that is going against the traffic, and all of us come out to attack him, will he repeat itself? Or whoever that witnessed the humiliation is passed through, will he want to experience such? No, what do? It's none of our business. We turn our face. And we even suffer in the same brilliance for hours. And we keep quiet. So the NGOs, every one of us can be involved. Play your role as an individual. There was a time we raised the concept of a red card. When you see somebody making causeway driving, you show him red card, sending signal to him that he's doing the wrong thing. You see somebody that is not using seatbelt driving, show him red card. Let's talk. I don't go to places to talk about road signs when I have reason to talk on road safety. I talk to people's emotions and conscience. We have sealed it when it comes to keeping Nigerian laws. And that's why things are not moving. So the NGOs is still open. As many as that can get registered, our heart is open to receive them. And as regards qualification of special marshals, is also open. In fact, the best thing that can happen to us as an agency is to have so many volunteers working with us. I welcome you to the platform of being abused. I welcome you to the platform of somebody at you, so that you can come and share with us. Be intimidated, be harassed, they push you on the road with their vehicle. But Yoruba ni kan kapo. So we can, if we are able to fortify and increase the workforce, and that is the role of, you are qualified if you have a means of livelihood. You are qualified if you're a man of integrity, that we can trace who you are, we can link you up with a body, we can vouch for you. You are qualified to be a member of Special Marshal. And whether FRSC is armed or not, so what you do as Special Marshal is that if you are interested, you can either apply as an individual or you apply as a group. And for whether FRSC is armed, by virtue of the Establishment Act 2007, FRSC is empowered to carry arms. But the president has the ultimate final decision on that. So I would like to leave it at that. So thank you very much.
We bless God. On the last note, sir, there is something I observed. I don't know what your team is doing concerning is the rate at which we have underage on Okada, operating Okada and Marua is becoming alarming. Underage. And I don't know if there's any particular rule guiding this Okada and these tricycles in Nigeria. Underage is very alarming.
Well, the law of acquisition of driver's license in the country is that for you to be entitled to apply for driver's license, you must have reached the age of 18 years. And for commercial, 26. So the law is still in place. And this thing you just mentioned, I think is also a thing of concern to us. And we are working on it. Because naturally, why we need to be very careful is that you cannot judge the age of every man by his face. There are people that look so young that you think maybe they are not up to 18, they are not up to 26. You still have to request for their birth certificates. So if someone comes with affidavit showing that it's within the age, what do? But there are some that outrightly, you will know that truly this one is underage. That, as a matter of sampling, we just get them arrested occasionally when we see such. So, it's a business in progress. Transportation sector is a very dynamic one. As we are erasing some offenders from the road, newcomers are coming in. So that's why we don't stop. There's no particular day you say, oh, I'm already through. Yes, the road is totally free now. Even when we clear road now and we boast to members of the public that the road is free, a crash can still occur in the next few minutes. So that's why consistently, there's no day we don't go out. There's no day we don't arrest. And there's no day we don't give advocacy, because that is the major weapon that can assist in talking to the
Hello, sir. Hello?
Hello. Hello, sir. Oga.
Hello,
Please,
sir.
I want to ask a question. It's like I still need few what do I say? Explanation on. Now he said that once somebody can be boast of livelihood, that means somebody
Yes.
who has a job at least to do. So not that we want to do special marshal for some people, so and we want to sponsor them. No. Now, but for the people that we want to bring in, like what are the cost implication? Maybe the uniform, the training, everything. Like how much shall we be expecting to really pay as a token of the uniform and the rest? I want to know that, so that we'll be able to really know the type of people and how many people we want to bring in. Individual and group.
Mm. Hello, sir.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Bra Philip, can you come up with your questions so that we round up?
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, I want our gas sector command to kindly elaborate on this, sir. You said that anyone who wants to come at least must have a livelihood. Yes, I agreed that you must be responsible and traced to somewhere or somebody or an organization. Yes, but sir, for the uniform, training and few other things, like how much should we be expecting to bring, so that the training and the costumes will be given? Like how much are we talking about, so that we'll be able to tell the people who really want to assist, either individual or as a group?
Thank you very much. The issue of special marshal happened to be under the coordination of the state coordinator. That's the head of special marshals, and they have their dues, regular annual dues that they pay, and the money for the procurement of the paraphernalia. So that is not the first thing. The first thing is for you to apply first. After you are through in the course of your orientation, they'll be able to tell you. Like I said, it's voluntary. If you know by virtue of what they tell you, you cannot cope, you are not sanctioned. You are not paying any fine for leaving. If you know you can cope, you also join up. It entails a lot of things. It's not something I can just categorically tell you and say, you are going to pay this, you are going to pay this. Because even in the course of your being members, they do assist the regulars. They do a lot of projects. So it's not just joining FRS and joining Special Marshal to be on the road. Their role goes beyond that. They have a social corporate responsibility that they do. So it entails a lot. But definitely when you are a member, you'll be able to know where you want to come in. But the statutory one that you are requesting for, by the time you are in the course of your orientation, they will give you all those details.
All right, okay, sir. Maybe we'll collect your number from my Oga, Apostle Timio Rokoya. He will give us your number. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Once again,
Okay,
sir.
Okay.
Once again, sir, we can never over appreciate your effort, the time spent to make sure you are with us. I want to sincerely appreciate God in your life once again and thank you. And I still believe that we are still coming back very, very soon. We will still, this is a Zoom. What we have observed is a lot of people are not, they are not on Zoom, and there can be those things happening. But by the grace of God, we are going to find a time, going by your schedule. They're going to give us a special day. It's going to be a live thing that is not. It won't be virtual. To be physical meet by the grace of God. Before the close of the year, we still get across to you once again on behalf of the people present here and everybody watching all over the world. Once thank you and God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate
God bless you,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank
You are
you.
blessed.
Thank you, my brother,
Keep
my
safe.
governor. Thank you very much, sir. Brother Isaiah, God bless you.